You are now listening to Rich Rants and Real Shit, hosted by Rich Really Out Here.
This is the moment y'all been waiting for, your weekly dose with your favorite host, your boy Rich Really Out Here. My name is Richard, aka Ronnie D, aka Puerto Rican Ronnie, aka Brownskin Bobby, aka Bobby Gold. You already know what the fuck going on. This is episode 9 of my podcast, and it's called Rich Rants and Real Shit. Today we got a couple special guests with me. Got one straight from a job. Got my supervisor here. Go ahead and introduce yourself, player.
Hey, what's up? I'm Kevin. Thanks for having me, bud.
AKA.
AKA? I think you already took all the AKAs.
K Hirsch. K Hirsch. What else you got? That's all we got.
That's all we got.
Yourself, madam?
Nancy.
AKA.
It's Nancy Pants.
AKA.
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's all we got. Yourself?
Hi, I'm Jessica.
AKA.
Brown skin goddess.
Oh my god, wow!
Yeah.
She gave me extra. No, I was gonna tell you your skin is pretty clear when I saw it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, you're welcome. Today we're talking about cultural appropriation. And I made a strong effort to make sure I have a white man here. So, thanks for coming. Or a woman, but he's one of the closest ones I know. So, he slid my DM, was like, you need your boy to make an appearance? I was like, for sure. And we set it up. So, let me give y'all the definition for people who don't know. Because a lot of people be out of the loop on what the hell stuff is. And it's surprising me. Alright, cultural appropriation is a concept dealing with the adoption of the elements of a minority culture by members of the dominant culture. It is distinguished from equal cultural exchange due to the presence of a colonial element and imbalance of power. So, whatever that means. I guess what I should start with is where should I start? Should I start with Bruno Mars? I mean, I want to start with somebody who I don't even think is appropriate in the culture, but he's been accused of it. Is Bruno Mars, because
is he Hawaiian?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. He's Filipino.
He's
Filipino. My bad. He was born in Hawaii.
Okay.
But somebody told me the other day that he's Filipino and Puerto Rican. Don't know if it's true. It is true?
And
Okay.
Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess he's kind of like, what, Afro-Latino?
Yeah. Not Latina. He's a man.
Latino.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I seen a while back that people would say he was appropriate in the culture because he make like black music and the type of music that like black people like, and he wear his afro and stuff and he trying to act like he black, which I don't think is true. I just think he's like a hip dude, happens to have an afro and makes good music that black people like, just like Justin Bieber.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but I feel like sometimes it comes to the point where they're kind of like benefiting off of another culture, you know, kind of like how Miley Cyrus kind of did, you know.
Well, that's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, but I mean, his is like, I really don't feel like Bruno Mars is like, you know, appropriating our culture, because I feel like in a sense, if you derive from like, you know, like Afro-Latino, I feel like that kind of comes into play. Some of them do call themselves black.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think Bruno is okay.
Does anyone know what Bruno Mars considers himself ethnically? Does he consider himself?
I feel like Filipino.
Afro-Latino?
I feel like he identifies.
I've never heard of him.
And does that make a difference?
Does it
as far as whether or not it's cultural appropriation?
Right.
I think no matter what,
if he identifies as black.
As far as what you identify as.
For me, he ain't appropriate no matter what. He don't seem like he's trying to act black to me. He just seemed like a cool, like a brown skinned dude that just make cool music and can dance and stuff. Like, he don't seem like he trying.
Because he makes pop music too.
Yeah.
It's just more recently he's just been able to, you know, his R&B feel is like better.
It's like funky.
But
like the last album was
really-
like real funky, and
exactly.
he works
It's
with
like
a
he
lot
likes
of
funk.
black songwriters. So how would you expect his music to sound?
Maybe he just makes his favorite genre of music.
And then also you get accused of cultural appropriation when you don't give credit. He always gives credit to the greats like Michael Jackson and whoever else has motivated him and stuff, or inspired him. I'm sorry. So I for sure don't think at all that he's appropriating the culture of black people.
Even though, well, I mean, his what's his biggest hit? That Uptown Funk song, which is produced by Mark Ronson, right?
Yeah,
You don't really listen to him.
Well, either way, Mark Ronson is a major producer of Bruno Mars music. He's white and he's from England, I believe. Does that play a factor?
Nope.
Or does that not matter because Bruno Mars is the artist?
It doesn't matter. He could be using Timberland. He not like no matter what. In my eyes, he's not appropriate in black culture. Now back when Miley Cyrus was like twerking around in Jordan jerseys and stuff like that, and sticking her tongue out and all that, that was appropriating the culture. Because she went from
trying
like
to benefit off of black culture.
Yeah.
And then went back.
Went back to country music.
She went from like Disney. I mean, I'm taking it far back, but she went from like Disney to like herself as Miley Cyrus, and then switched way up to like, wasn't she having songs like Juicy J and stuff? I feel like what?
She was like dating Mike Will.
Mike Will made it.
Yeah,
see, so like, what are you doing?
She's weird.
How would someone like, let's say Justin Timberlake, for instance, who I know he has.
That's definitely a topic people talk about.
He has, you know, the NSYNC past, but his first solo album is mostly produced by Timbaland and has a very hip hop, R&B influence to it. And now some of his more recent stuff is going more into kind of a country or folk or I mean, pop.
His last one. I didn't hear it, but I know that last one did do that.
So where would he fall? Like you say about Miley Cyrus.
Because she went back.
She has gone back and forth.
No.
What do we think about someone like Justin Timberlake?
I feel like Justin Timberlake, just like with Bruno Mars, I mean, I feel like these artists are making music that feels good to them. So for them, only reason why they would identify with the music is because it was used in some form of their lives. So Justin Timberlake, he obviously grew up listening to this music, and it gave him a feeling, so he wants to give that same feeling to his listeners. So I don't think that they're appropriating the culture, and maybe now he feels more like pop. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he wants to work with some different artists, do some different stuff. I don't think that he's bouncing back and forth. Miley Cyrus walked around and did hip hop for all of 2 years, and then all of a sudden she's a changed Christian woman, blah blah blah. It's like, no, like don't.
You don't buy it. You think she was just trying to cash in?
I definitely think she was trying to cash in, but I don't think she was doing it like, you know, to say, oh, I'm better than black people or anything like that. I think she was just literally trying to make some money. You know what I'm saying? She was just like, whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna do what I want.
The haircut you get when you're about to appropriate the culture for, when you're about to use the culture for a come up.
Exactly, that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? They just used it for a come up, and so I think that that's more disrespectful than anything. You know, in my eyes, personally, to use it like even Justin Bieber. I was not surprised when Justin Bieber came out with an R&B album. I was not surprised.
Wait, but okay, just because Justin Bieber has an R&B album, why does that? You think he's appropriating?
No, I don't think. That's what I'm saying. Like Justin Bieber.
Because all his albums were R&B or pop.
Exactly, and I don't feel that way. But
like
people are always. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like these, and it's Bruno Mars too. Like, my aunt knew his mom, so my aunt's black. So and he grew up in Hawaii. A lot of the Hawaiians and people like that, they have like a black swag. It's not that they're black,
like
but
the
they
Rock.
just like the Rock.
He's black and Hawaiian, but it's like that.
But you know, it's just like a little.
My bad, Samoan and black.
Exactly, but like I don't know. It's just like they have a little, I don't know, like twang to them, and so.
Flavor.
Exactly, a little flavor. And so the fact that if he grew up, you know, listening to Michael Jackson, he probably listened to the people that inspired Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So, and as far as Mark Ronson, Jimi Hendrix was popular in London, so that was probably a big influence on music, you know, when he was coming up and different things like that. So that's what I think about that.
What was my, let me see. Yesterday, Katy Perry. I put up a picture of her.
That was weird. With the Asian thing on?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Okay, that's where it get kind of dicey, because it's like,
can you? I'm not too familiar with this. Can you go into?
Oh, you haven't
Can you
seen
explain?
This
Can you
picture? I don't know. I
explain
just saw the picture on his
there's
page.
a picture.
Yeah, what's the picture?
She's like,
She had a video where she was dressed up like she was Egyptian too.
Yeah, I put that one up too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you right now.
I feel like Egyptian has been so commercialized that I was just like, okay, last time you came on with this.
Okay, so it's.
And that one, in addition to, I don't even know. Let's use
her dressed as a geisha and her dressed as
Egyptian.
Cleopatra.
Okay, well, yeah.
She looked crazy.
I say people would for sure say that's appropriation. Because what's the point? I don't know. Like when you, okay, like when there's a movie about, let's say Pocahontas came out in 2018. I'm pretty sure the way movie, what's the word I want to use? The way movies are set up these days, they're not going to use a real Indian girl. They're going to use some white girl that's like, maybe put a tan on her and something like that and throw her in the movie. And then people come out like, that's appropriate. Like, why not just use an Indian girl? Like a Native American girl. I feel like that's a big deal too, because it's like, a lot of times they'll use, like the girl from On My Block. A lot of people, I don't know if any of y'all ever seen that show, nobody? Nobody.
What's the
There's
show?
a Netflix show called On My Block, and there's a main character. One of the I don't know her name right now, and I feel bad because I should have, but it just came in my head. There's a girl in there who's Spanish, who's like Mexican on the show, but in real life she's not, and people like be going at her on Instagram and stuff like that because they say her Spanish is terrible, and they could have got a real Mexican girl and this and that. And
Yeah,
stuff.
that was cold. Why didn't they? Maybe they just didn't find a girl. But
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't think it's that. I feel like because that happens a lot. Even when you watch TV, what do you see? Most of the shows that you see is mostly white people, and then if anything, like it's one black person or like one Asian. Like they always try to put like one. Like I used to do like acting and stuff when I was in high school. And so I was usually like that one black girl that was there, and then everybody else was white, or they would have like one Asian, one Hispanic, or something like that. So I just feel like that's who they cast, and that's who they want to put. They want to put white people on the scene. Like that's what it is. Like that's who they cast, and that's who controls the industry. So they're not gonna go and get someone that's Native American or someone that's Hispanic most of the time, because it's like they'll get a white person and dress them up and
and for sales too. I think for the sales, like they feel like maybe a famous white actor could sell more than like a brand new whatever.
Or
race.
even putting a white person on it, it'll make more white people go see it. Because honestly, I mean,
maybe.
some will be like,
that's
racist
true.
people. They'll be like, oh well,
I'm
why
not
do you
gonna see
have
it
this?
because-
Yeah, why do you have this person on here? Like I know a lot of white people's mad about Black Panther. Like you don't see a lot of movies unless it's like Tyler Perry or something like that where it's like an all black cast.
Or them all like Taraji P. Henson, Halle Berry.
Yeah.
But like all them those like the famous black actors. I couldn't start it, but the ones. Those would be the only movies. But what was I trying to get back to? Justin Bieber is not appropriate to me.
Well, is that appropriation? Is that an issue of appropriation or of representation?
True.
What,
True.
when it
That's
comes to the
representation.
acting and stuff?
As far as he's bringing
Using
up
white actors instead
using people who are not the same ethnicities of the characters they're portraying.
That's representation. You're right.
But I mean, does that all relate? I mean, I would think it would. I mean, I think it all is wrapped up and rolled into it.
I mean, I guess well, if that goes with everything in society, then it's all wrapped up in one.
I think that people like now, just to avoid the whole like how many black people is it, how many white people is it, they just started casting people who are ethnically ambiguous. You just don't know what they are. Mila Kunis, what is she? What is she?
I feel like she's like Middle Eastern or something.
Exactly. But then in reality, you can read it up.
Oh shit! See, I don't know. I'll be guessing.
I don't know.
She
But
really?
it's like she might be.
I think so.
Cool.
But how much of that is?
It's like they
How
wanna
much of
do
that
it
is America in 2018 that all of us are kind of
that's very true.
getting more mixed up? Like, let's say if I was an actor, are the only roles that I'm going to be able to play are people who are 25% Italian, 50% Irish, and another 25% of whatever else is mixed up in me.
No, they'll put you in a lot.
Or is it if you can conceivably portray the role?
Yeah, you can portray the role.
Is that what it is? Without
Maybe they're
going
not
to
really
extreme
concerned
lengths
with
like
all that,
prosthetics and makeup and
Yeah.
things like that.
Maybe they're not. Even
I think if it's conceivable that you can play the role, you'll get it before somebody who can just naturally is like that. For sales and stuff.
But
not you personally, but like in TV in general, like they'll rather get somebody who maybe has a bigger name and maybe the look they're looking for, but not actually. It's kind of backwards because it's the look they're looking for, but they're not actually that look. Like I was gonna bring up a kind of stupid example, but we're talking about racially ambiguous people. The girl from 13
Reasons Why?
Yeah, that I don't know
The
her.
black girl Jessica.
I don't know if is she black?
She looks mixed to me, black with something.
Yeah, I don't know what
in the
she
show,
is.
She plays black and white. She's black and white. So I think she's.
I only watched like one episode, but I just know she looked really different to me. I don't know what the hell she is, but she looked racially ambiguous.
Yeah, she could be Hawaiian. She could be, but in the movie, the show, she plays a mix of black and white.
Yeah, it's just It's more so just both in one, but it's representation. Like I think there should be more representation of.
Yeah, because even with that show, like she's the only person that is like, you don't know what they are. Everyone else is white. So I mean,
That 13 Reasons Why. That show has a pretty ethnically diverse cast. I watched the first season.
I've only seen one.
Oh yeah, there is another black guy. There is.
And there was.
Oh, and the Hispanic guy.
There was several Hispanic and Asian actors in it as well.
I never watched it. The plot was just too much. I was like, I read the plot. I was like, oh no.
It's
about
it's
somebody
good.
killing themselves?
The first season is good. The second one I heard was kind of boring.
I don't know. I don't like to be emotionally jerked around.
No,
I can't handle it.
The ending is they actually like really show her kill herself, like cutting her arm open and like bleeding out. I was like, that's a lot.
That's crazy.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's the last episode. And it's telling how they worked you up to that.
Yeah.
Get out.
I got a question. Well, I got a picture and then question: is this appropriation? And it's black people, so we ain't just gonna, we gonna show the black people too.
Oh, that was big on Twitter. I seen that.
I just seen it recently, probably because of what I've been typing in Google. They be finding out what you.
Yeah.
I think I saw somebody say that if they were black and Asian, that would be a dope photo shoot to like, show off like Blasian people or something like that.
But it just comes to what are you trying to do?
That's
though.
what I'm saying.
That's when it becomes to cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. It's totally different. So it's like, what is your intent with that photo shoot? What are you trying to convey?
What do you think of these pictures when you see them? Do you think it's appreciation? Because he's standing in front of a noodle shop, like a ramen shop.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is the line? Is it as simple as intent? Because I think the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Is it as simple as intent, or is execution, or is it a combination of the two? Because I think of like Macklemore, for instance. I would say what he is doing is cultural appropriation.
Really? They talk mess about him a lot.
I think as a white person, I think what he's doing is cultural appropriation. But I also think that is not his intention.
I never thought Macklemore was appropriate in the culture. I thought it was like the dude can rap. I don't listen to him like that. He can rap.
I don't know. Some of the stuff he would talk about in his songs, like he would talk about being like 7, riding the bus, like in the ghetto. Like he would talk, you know what I'm saying, like being like a teenager. I don't know where he's from, but this is some of the stuff that he talks about growing up, like that song where he talks about his uncle being gay, and just a lot of stuff that he goes through. I haven't listened to the recent stuff, but that's why I was asking you, like, why do you think?
I don't know if there is recent stuff.
Yeah, I heard a new one on the radio. I'm in and out of cars all day, but I heard it on the radio. I never got the name of it, but why do you say that you think that?
Yeah.
I think, specifically him, as I think about, like you mentioned the song, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was, it was lauded as this gay anthem. And the
same love or something like that.
And the very first line, he makes it 100% abundantly clear that he is not gay.
It's like when I was 7, I thought I was gay.
And it's like, and you theoretically could have done that in a way that set yourself up more as an ally, but to me it seemed more as, I don't want anyone to think that I might be gay.
Yeah, I get that.
And so that, that seemed to me like you were profiting off of something as opposed to
now that's true,
being a true ally and appreciating it.
Exactly. That's true.
Maybe it's because I'm not a big fan of his music and think a lot of it is just kind of pop trash, but I think that could be, like I'm saying, about is it a combination of intent plus execution that leads to whether or not it is cultural appropriation. Like I think about what was that LL Cool J song with the country singer about accidental racist or something.
I never remember.
I don't know.
It had some line about LL Cool J said something about if you accept my gold chain, I'll forgive the iron chains or something like that.
Oh no.
And it was, I think his intent. I think LL Cool J. This was a song. I want to say it was called "Accidental Racist," and it was just
gold chains. I'll forgive the iron chains.
That's
just
crazy.
an abomination of music. and the message was terrible. But I think their intent literally was like, we're gonna all hold hands and we're gonna sit around a campfire and we're gonna heal racism.
I feel like
And so I think the intent was there, which is kind of going back to you saying about the line between cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation, which is a great way of putting it. That intent plays a factor. But I think it's more nuanced than that. But I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
I think it is a combination. Because it's like when I see a picture like that, it's like, people get on Twitter, they have the Twitter couples and the, the people that are like Instagram famous, they just do photo shoots to do like fun stuff. Yeah. So it's like, I know I was reading like comments, they were saying like they were in front of a Japanese shop and then like her clothes was Chinese. Yeah. So it was like they were saying like, what are you trying to do? Like you're not even doing it right. So I think they were just trying to do like a cute little photo shoot. Yeah. That's what I think. But honestly, I don't want it to be like, oh well, black people could do it, but other races can't do it. Like
I got an example of that.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Shit, is it appropriation or appropriation?
But it's like, what's the cost? Is your cute photo shoot worth the marginalization of someone else's culture, or are they on the grand scale of these two things? They're so outweighed that it doesn't matter.
You know what? I kind of don't feel like I get the cultural appropriation or vibe when I look at things that are like mainstream, like them doing the whole like Chinese photo shoot. That's mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like people, this is when people think Chinese people. This is what people think. So I think it was just more of an. Sometimes people just come from like you said, intent, like an idea. They're just like, what would be dope? Let me make the. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even think because it's just mainstream stuff. Like Cleopatra, I didn't think that was cultural appropriation. One, she's a white girl and her videos always be wild. She'd make all type of videos. So I wasn't surprised that she came out with a video just full on, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I was like, okay. But at the same time, when people do things just to make a profit or just to be popular or, you know what I'm saying?
Shock value.
Yeah, shock value. That is when I'd be like, okay, you're doing a lot right now. I can't even get behind that. That's personally how I feel.
So to nobody, that picture was cultural appropriation?
No, I think it was more so appreciation. Because honestly, sometimes I shop online and I look like on Pretty Little Thing and I see like the cute little, China like outfit. I don't know what they call it.
So like the kimono type thing or something?
Yeah, I think kimono is Japanese.
My bad,
But
yes.
whatever word they call it, I'm like, that's cute. Like
the dress.
Yeah, like I would low key wear that, So it's like.
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
do you want to wear it?
Cool
yeah,
shit.
And it's like if I walk around as a black girl in like the little Chinese crop top, like because her outfit was cute. So I'm thinking she just, like you said, they were like, oh, it would be a good idea. Let's like do this little photo shoot and try something different, to look cute. So I honestly think that they were most likely appreciating the culture. So
exactly.
Did y'all see the white girl who was in the Chinese prom dress?
Who is the main example of culture appropriation? I'm mad I even know who this girl is. Whoa Vicky shit. Oh my god.
That's blatant.
Oh my god. No, she literally.
What is Whoa Vicky?
Oh my gosh. It's like some teenage girl
who acts like she's like super.
I'll play it right now.
But she says she's black. She's like,
and she be saying she black, but she white as day. Like, girl, go sit down. Like, you are
She
got into it with
a Rachel Dolezal situation.
No,
that's a whole.
She's not at that.
No, she could be her daughter, maybe.
Yeah, like
the way
pretty
she
much.
acting.
Here's a clip from Whoa Vicky.
And that's not her hair. She has a lace front on.
Oh wait, no, she apologized right there. Let's get the real her. I want to get the real her. Hold on.
Where's she? Okay, but I want to know, did she like grow up in a per se good area?
She just knows how to copy what black people like.
I mean, that's how you
I think it started out funny. Honestly, I think it started out funny. She probably was like, "This is how people act," and started doing it, and then people video recorded her, and then she was like, "Oh, people think it's funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it." And now look at me,
now this is how I talk. And
she got, I think she has millions. I don't even know. Look at her lace.
So if y'all see me in person, bitch, what's up? We can fight, bitch, cause it's legal now. I'll beat your ass on sight, bitch. And y'all make team, but bitch, I've been getting with, and I've been thinking, I've been making boss moves, and you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all grown now, but I've really been grown since I was like 15.
That's appropriation. appropriation for
That's
sure.
what I'm saying.
Well,
That's
She's
what I'm saying.
doing it
She's-
because it's like it's giving her exposure. People are watching her and they're like, oh my gosh, like
Why?
you know, it's funny one, and then it's like she's doing it because she's getting famous off of it.
Why is she famous? Just
I
For
don't
those
know.
videos,
Like,
Instagram
Well, you know,
I
she
really
ended up
don't.
she ended up getting into it with the other girl that did the cultural appropriation,
Oh yeah.
Bad Baby, and
Well, I don't know if she.
I think
They
she
got
was
into
ghetto.
it.
I think
Yeah,
she was the ghetto.
I don't think she's.
Oh, Bad
appropriating.
Baby, I don't think
Yeah,
she.
I think she really. She doesn't try to act. She.
Because
I
on
don't
Dr.
think she
Phil,
has to
she
act
was
black.
really like.
But I think that's
acting
really
like
how she is, and I think she just be like I said, it kind of probably goes back to just being around people. But at the same time, sometimes Bad Baby kind of I don't know if she wants to turn it off. Sometimes you know she can turn it
Yeah,
off.
she
can
can
be
talk
like,
regular. She can. There's
Turn it
been an
off. You know what I'm
interview where she was talking regular,
Yeah.
and then someone was like, "What happened to your voice?"
That's
And
what
then
I'm
she
saying.
kind of got stuck. Like,
Yeah.
That's
okay,
what I'm saying.
like,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
like you know what I'm saying. So it seemed like she, you know, because I've seen her when her and Vicky got into it or whatever.
It was at
They was
the,
about to fight,
Galleria.
and I saw how she was acting. She was about to
Galleria.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw how they was acting, and Bad Baby, I was like, okay, she don't be putting on a show because she really didn't say nothing. She was just like, bitch, if you want to fight, let's fight.
Yeah,
like
it
she
was-
didn't really, she wasn't barking and shit. So that makes me feel like, okay, you know, maybe you are a little more tough than you come off because, I mean, at least when
She
people
was
do-
beating up her mama on Dr. Phil.
wild enough.
So
So
I-
people who hit their moms, I mean, are
Yes,
really-
it's
I don't think
special
she-
place in hell for them. but-
Either one of them. I mean, sorry. Ooh. I don't think Bad Baby is appropriated. I just think she
She ghetto.
Yeah.
I think she ghetto.
Well, Vicky, that's just a caricature. I think she came up with that. It was a smart marketing tool to get her own. Like, I'm gonna act like I'm Black Sam from Atlanta, Zone 6, etc., etc. And it's working. She got like 2 million Instagram followers and she making money. Like, that girl don't gotta go to work.
Exactly. That's why they do it. Like, I mean, hey,
Damn.
that's how you getting your money, and you how long are you gonna do it though?
Right,
How
how
long
much
do you keep it
does a
up?
dollar cost?
Yeah.
I always have to ask myself when it comes to like thinking about work and shit, what I would do for work. I'd be like, how much does a dollar really cost? Because I'm not about to be out here, like granted, you know, she's making a lot of money or whatever, but there's gonna come a time in her life where she might look back and be ashamed of some of the things she's done.
Oh,
I'm not saying that she will, for sure, but if it was me, I would.
She gonna throw the I was young part out. Like, oh, you know, I was
Yeah,
young.
but
I
you
was
still,
just a kid, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
you know, exactly.
And it's not that bad.
I just can't do the orange and green, pink,
That's
blue,
new.
yellow
To me, yeah.
Yeah.
lace fronts. I can't.
I wasn't
can't.
surprised. I mean, people do what's popular.
So
Yeah, honestly, that's what
So what is the key difference of why this one girl is not appropriating and the other girl is?
Which,
between
between
Bad
Between
Baby
these
and
two
Bad Baby?
Instagram
I don't even know these people.
personalities.
Because I think Bad Baby is really like that. Like, she really
Yeah.
about their life. I didn't want to use that sentence, but I had to. And what Vicky...
They're both white, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
Okay.
I have a, yeah. And then the other girl, it's literally a joke. Like, this her whole thing is a joke. Like, I mean, you never see her talk in her real actual voice.
Yeah.
But
She's
that's
always
it's a
hollering.
character.
There's no way that you literally always are yelling.
And then-
It's no way, bro. It's no way.
For whatever reason, this was making me think of, I don't know if any of you guys are NFL fans, but a few years ago there was a big controversy where a white NFL player was bullying a black NFL player,
Okay.
right? A biracial, half black, half white NFL player
Okay.
on the Dolphins. And Richie Incognito was the name of the white player, Jonathan Martin was the name of the biracial player. And they had all of these, there were actually audio recordings and video recordings of Richie Incognito, the white player, verbally bullying the biracial player. And he was using,
Like racist stuff?
he was using the N-word.
Really?
He's bold.
He was using the N-word, but after it all started coming out, the thing that was weird to me is that all of their black teammates on the Dolphins all came out in defense of the white people.
That's crazy as hell.
And they more or less said, you know, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but like, no, he thinks he's black. He grew up around all black people.
Oh, shit.
All of his friends are black.
Yeah, but the
He
way
does-
he's
he does-
saying
he
it,
doesn't-
it's all in how you say things.
And
I
s-
think beat his ass.
And so I'm interested why they actually more or less most of the black teammates came to the defense of the white
That's
player
crazy.
and more or less
turned it back.
turned their back and threw the biracial player under the bus.
Shit.
And so why do we think it is that he got this kind of this cultural appropriation pass?
I think it's like who you hang around and the people that you're around. Because honestly, my best friend is Asian, and she would never say the N-word. Like, even before me meeting her, like, she would always say, like, that's just not something I would do. That's just not something I would say. Like, I don't want to say it. And so I just feel like it just depends. Like, because honestly, I couldn't be friends with someone that's okay with saying that word, someone of another race saying that word. So I feel like it's just about who you're around, because if they were okay with him saying that, then that's on them, you know. But I mean, I feel like I wouldn't be okay with this. So I feel like it's just who you are as a person. Like, some people are like that. They're white, Asian, Hispanic, but all they hang around is black people. Like,
So do you think that's more of a reflection on
who they hang around with?
on the players who came to his defense
Yes.
I think I know.
than on than the individual, the white individual?
It's both of them, because I mean, he can say like, oh yeah, I grew up around all black people, you know, this is how I talk, this is how I act, you know, but at the end of the day, you still have to understand you're not black. Like, you still have to understand that your parents are not black. Like,
Right.
that's how I feel. It's like, I don't care who you grew up around, where you were around, like, I'm not okay with that happening. And I feel like the football players that came to his defense should be ashamed of themselves, because that's not okay. And was the other football player, he was biracial, he was white and black, or okay? So it's like, yeah, that's
But you
not
said
okay.
he
But
was
it's like,
bullying them.
yeah, you're bullying him for what? Like,
So you
no,
must have been
I
saying
think
the word nigga in a derogatory way to be
Exactly.
bullying someone. So that's what makes it inappropriate. Like, if he was like, yeah, my nigga, like,
Even
okay,
still,
that's one thing.
I
But-
can't remember specifically how he said it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's all
like, nah,
online.
if
You
you're
can look it up.
bullying-
I think he more or less. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this. But I think he was more or less using it as like, instead of saying my man, or my, you know,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
he was substituting the N word in
How was he
instead.
bullying? I'm just trying to figure out
And
how
then-
you're talking to
And
him.
then the bullying was
Grown man.
a separate issue essentially. I believe it's been a few years.
I think the people that came to his defense might have, because it might be like how we were talking about colorism last week. I think it might be like that the black dudes were like full black, and here's this light skinned dude on the team, and it's like you got some white dude talking about you. But it's like all of us regular black, we just full black, so fuck you. We with the white dude riding with him for whatever reason, because you're both. Like you got a little bit of both, so we gonna ride with him because you're not fully a part of us.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just probably, I mean, they could have just been closer with the white guy. They could have just been friends, because obviously if he's acting like, oh, what's up, my nigga, you know, acting like, you know, oh, what's up, like, if that's how he's acting, then they're probably like, oh, this is my boy, like, we cool, we friends, and they probably weren't as close with the other guy. I don't know, you know, how he acts or what kind of person he is.
Yeah, but
So-
even I don't know. I feel like even black people who don't know each other sometimes, like, you just kind of be more on their side. For his whole team to be against him.
Yeah, they allowed it. They sat there, and even if he was I feel like regardless if he was saying the N-word, if he was a grown man bullying another grown man and all these grown men watch, like, get out of here. Nobody's gonna say anything. So I'm not surprised that the rest of the team didn't step up and do the right thing, because they never did. They even pulled out their phone and recorded it, like, and then it ended up getting out. Like, that's corny. Like, that's like, you know, that's not even being a stand-up teammate type of thing anyway. So regardless of what he was saying, the fact that he was bullying and none of them did anything is more so like, whether he black or white. If it was a black dude bullying another black dude, I would still say something.
Yeah,
you
still
know?
not okay. It doesn't matter.
Right. So it's almost like they were all off.
I'm just wondering
altogether.
what made all the black people go against another black dude.
That was their homie, probably.
Or
He was
maybe-
probably first
maybe
string,
it
and
that
the other
was
guy
their
was
beat.
like,
Maybe the
I don't
coach
know.
told them.
whatever.
Maybe they were told what to say.
I think it's just like locker room, like bullying and fucking around and stuff that like
Yeah.
got out. But I genuinely want to know what the relationship between him and the black players and the white dude and the black players, because for the whole team of black dudes to ride with a white dude that's bullying another black dude is crazy to me. Not that it's not that it's all about race, but you don't like in that situation it kind of is, and I just wonder
Now I wanna
what was
see
the dynamic between the two, like why, but who knows. Let me see what else I got.
Right.
Oh, you
You gotta be
Come
ready.
on,
You
host.
gotta be,
Come on, moderator.
yeah, you gotta be
Wait.
on point.
I didn't know when I was gonna finish. I was gonna show you Bad Baby though. Let me see.
Oh yeah, that baby. So this.
This is the one that's authentic.
No, I mean,
Yeah, stuff.
Like, what do you spend your money on?
Nails. I don't put money on nails and eyelashes.
Nails and eyelashes?
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Hey, so
and why is she rolling her
Hold on,
neck
hold
so
on.
hard?
Let me see.
Creepy red sun. Creepy red
And she's a rapper too, by the way. Or
But the,
Knuckleheaded ass fucking hoe. Ain't finna do nothing, not one thing, but run your fucking mouth like a pussy. You do it with everybody. You did it with Trippy, you did it with Squid, you did it with all these motherfuckers. Whether they're nobodies or not, you still don't do nothing.
but I don't think she's like
That's
she,
why I
that's not a
think
character for her. That's
Yeah.
really how she talking. That's really how she is. So
Cool.
yeah, I think she is ghetto, but I also think that now, since she's so popular, I didn't think she thought she was gonna get so popular.
At
Because
all.
Catch Me Outside, everybody started using that phrase, and then she got popular
Oh,
off
it's the
it.
same girl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a Catch Me
Yeah,
Outside
that's
girl,
Catch
and
Me
then
Outside.
now
Yeah.
she's like rapping, like
yeah, and
legit rapping.
some of it was kind of good. I heard some of it. It wasn't even bad.
But she not writing music.
How do we know? How do we know that?
I think
First,
she's
she
writing
is
it.
It was not.
I think she's
That
writing it
music.
because
Oh,
of
sorry.
No, wait. It wasn't even. It wasn't even bars like that. It was just a cool like.
She's not writing her
That's
music.
why I think she's writing
not.
it because it's not that dope. Like it's
Yeah,
not
it
just
was-
coming out like you know saying on the mic. No, she's
Like
not.
it was
She's
just
very
cool.
regular.
Like
It's
I ain't
not,
saying she just on there barring everything up, but it
Yeah,
was,
she
it was
not.
a cool little rap.
Like it's a cool little ditty bop. You know what I'm saying? Like I could be like, oh, she just sat down with me with a team of people who bounce some ideas off. I was like, maybe you should say this.
I
maybe
forgot
you
what
should say
song
that.
I'm talking about, but I seen a clip on World, so I was like, damn, it's kind of
Yo,
hard.
yeah.
It was better than
she was on
Cardi
a
B
car.
to
Was
me.
she on a car?
Don't ever disrespect.
It was better than Cardi. It was better than Cardi.
Ever
Let me see if I can find.
You're making your own bed right now, Richie Rich.
It was.
I
Like
Cardi.
no, I honestly think that she does like. She's just. I mean, she is. I think she is ghetto. I think that's how she is. But I also think she's benefiting off of it now. Like it's like, oh,
She's
people
playing
already
it up.
know. Yeah, people already know this is how I am. So I'm already a little famous now. So let me just go ahead. I think who signed her? Atlantic or whoever. Somebody signed
Let me
her.
try some.
Yeah, and so it was like she wasn't gonna come out and be a country singer. Like no, they had her start rapping, and I don't think. I mean, and you could say like
music was a passion of hers at all. Like look at the way she
No,
is. She probably grew up around black people.
No. That's why a lot of like people try to get famous first and then they do stuff. Like
Okay.
you know.
I think I got the
hair and
video.
nails. Oh, you care about his hair and nails, and all of a sudden you love music.
What is hair and nails gonna do with music?
I don't know. It's not that they have anything to do with each other, but I don't know. I just be feeling like sometimes people who, I don't know, maybe it's just my opinion, but like or my perspective. But I feel like people who like make music, I feel like they care about like things, but at the same time they're passionate people. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like, and I don't know if she's passionate about music just by listening to it. It's like you can tell Cardi B's passionate. You can, even people who are
Like
like.
the people who write for her.
I just think she's a cash cow. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's
Like
what I'm saying.
this
She's
girl's
like-
already popping. She's already famous. She already at ghetto. So I mean, let's have her rap. Let's write her music for her because I know she is not writing that
This is my
music.
question. She's a famous little girl. She made her money off Instagram. Who's the let's do this? Who's the they above her saying let's make her rap?
She got a management team. Like
for sure.
as
So-
soon as that Catch Me Outside shit happened and she saw how she skyrocketed at all the little YouTubers and stuff when it started making videos with her, like I would have started calling management teams myself to try to promote myself.
I feel like she was popping for a while before she started rapping.
Yeah, she was, but it's like that's how they get there. Like you need a gateway to get famous or to get popping these days. Like people have to do certain stuff. Like
Okay.
like how Cardi B started. She started making videos. That's how I honestly knew who she was. So she probably always wanted to do music, but it's like I'm not gonna just go start rapping on Instagram. People gonna look at me like, who is this girl? Just rapping. So she had to. You gotta go through
There's people that
stages.
do it.
I don't
sometimes.
even feel like Cardi B was making the videos because she thought she was gonna rap one day. Honestly, I used to watch Cardi B, and she would talk about like maybe I just be like I was going to school, but I couldn't fuck with school. Like I'm stripping to pay the bills. Like you know what I'm saying? She was just more so like going through life, and then she just ended up. I feel like just like you said, she got with a management team, and people probably started just to cultivate her. But she did go to performing arts school, high school, and all that stuff. So it's like, maybe they just started to cultivate her, and she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try it.
No,
But
I
everybody-
know.
She
I
said that she always wanted to rap.
No, I was gonna say I
so
ain't gonna
it's
lie.
like,
I do
don't
know
know
the
if
info
it's
that
like
she has
yeah.
old mixtapes before she got popular.
Oh.
She used to rap already, but I don't think this girl just started rapping. And I'm gonna just play
Yeah,
a little clip.
No, please.
No, look, it's not because I won't give it. It's not even bad. If this is the one I want to see. Okay, that's not the one. That's not the one.
No,
Sorry.
which one is the
Honestly,
one?
it's
Is it black
this
and
one.
white? Is it black and white?
Pretty bad.
Wait, it's this
Not
one. It's this
as bad
one.
as I imagined it would be.
No, I got it. It's this one. I think. Wait.
It is.
is like Migos Kids
She's
Bop.
not writing this.
It's the way.
Hell no.
That's
She's
not
She's
right.
not even saying anything.
She's not.
That's
But
not
it's
the one.
like
That's not the
honestly,
one.
it comes into a lot. Like even like I used to write poetry, so even it's like you just think it's just rhyming and stuff. Like you honestly have to sit down and like really write and really think about it, or if it's something you're feeling or not. But it's like I don't know. I think she has ghostwriters, or she has a team that's writing for her because she can. I mean, if she wanted to write some stuff, probably, but.
I just want
I
to
don't
give a
know.
disclaimer.
I don't think
Those
she
weren't
could.
the songs that I was impressed by at all. I can't find it, but there was one. There was like I was like, oh, this is actually cool. So I can't find it right now, but it is.
It
No,
doesn't
no,
sound-
we
it
get it.
doesn't sound
We get
bad.
it,
I just
Richard.
wouldn't
You're
listen to
on
her
the
music.
record that this is your girl.
No, I said
This is who you're riding with.
She had
on
like
the record.
she had like a dope song. I don't know what it's called, but she had one. I was like, damn, this is cool. I didn't go listen to the whole thing, but the clip I heard of it was cool.
No, honestly, I've heard, like, you know, when you're on Instagram or Twitter and you see it, like, I'll click on it and I'll listen to it for a little bit. So stuff that I've heard, it doesn't sound bad. Like, the beats, are good, but it's like, I wouldn't listen to her. Like, I wouldn't listen to Lil Pump, like, 6ix9ine, I can't do it. I can't do those people at all.
But wait, we're
That's another culture appropriation.
Right.
What-
And honestly,
what-
he's Hispanic, so it's like,
I mean, you don't
He
even.
what is he trying to do,
He-
really?
I don't. My thing with him is I don't listen to his music. I just think he's funny as hell because he's trolling the whole rap game.
Oh my God! Did you see that video where
Everybody
he was
is
like,
like-
he was talking about Chief Keef, and he was like, "All right, TMZ, I'm gonna do a freestyle for you." And then he started
rapping Chief
singing
Keef?
the Sosa song.
Yeah.
That shit was funny. I laughed at that.
He
but I think
He
he's
just
an
rapped
idiot.
Chief Keef's actual song.
Yeah, he was acting like he was gonna do
it
a
was an
freestyle.
original freestyle?
Yes, it was hilarious. It was. But he's like.
Everything he do to me is just funny. I don't listen to his music like that, but I don't think he's appropriating the culture. I just think he grew up in a part of New York where he hangs out around all black people. The way he just dropped the N-word so much, like he just say it. He just say it.
Have you seen pictures of him?
Yeah, have you seen pictures of him before?
Have you seen
Like,
Yeah, I've seen it. I ain't gonna say.
Do he look like the boy that used to kick with people that said nigga?
come on.
No.
Okay,
He
but,
looked like he was
but,
part of the cheerleading squad.
but now, like I don't know how recently, like he was
He
homeless.
probably kick
He
with
was
black
homeless
dudes
like
now.
a year or two ago.
Yeah, he probably
Maybe
kick with black dudes.
I don't know his life story. I just know.
How much of that is just, how old is he, like 18, 19 years old?
I feel like he's a little bit older, like 20 something, like early 20s.
But how much is that? There's a lot of 18 to 21, 22 year olds on the internet who just like to troll and like to say things and do things for shock value.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
How
know
much
what
of it
you're
is
saying.
that?
That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. Like,
is
they
just-
just
It's
wanna
promo
be-
all day. Every time you see him, it's a new beef. It's a new beef with
Yeah,
the
he's
game,
a-
YG.
And then the
like,
thing about it is that he really get rises out of people.
Well, he is he
Like, nobody.
Well,
goes-
except for Chief Keef, they didn't even say nothing. They didn't
Yeah,
respond.
Chief Keef
is
was
he the
probably
kid
like,
that had the "Fuck J. Cole" song?
no, that's Lil Pump.
that was Lil
Because
Pump.
then they had that interview together
He had
where
That's no
he just said he didn't have any problem with J. Cole. Just people were
The
saying
song
it.
was called "Fuck Jacob."
They were
It was like a
chanting,
song
they
or
were
like a
chanting at the shows and
freestyle or
stuff.
something.
There it
But he
is.
said it was just like people just were trolling on Instagram and just put it in the
Mhm.
comments, and so he just went with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
he didn't have a problem, but how much of that is
Yeah.
there's a subset of people, and it's a lot of younger people, like I said, like that, like 16 to like 21, 22-year-olds, that it's they just do anything for shock value and for exposure, and in the same way of if I can shock you by putting a picture of me in some sort of cultural appropriated outfit or
Exactly.
costume or whatever you want to say, is that just them shock value?
I got a
I
question.
mean, is it continuous though?
And
Like,
does that
are
make
you-
it any better or worse?
I feel like if it's continuous, if it's like how we saw with the picture, like them just taking a picture. But if it's like every day, like this is who you're portraying yourself as, like all the time, then yeah, I feel like that's when it goes past shock value, and it's like just you looking crazy.
I got a question. I feel like white people are the people who get accused of cultural appropriation the most because we always joke like they don't really have culture. They don't, the food they eat, the way that, like, there's no, like, black people, if we want to be, it's not culture, but it's race, like, oh, they eat fried chicken, they eat watermelon, Kool-Aid, all this shit, and then Mexican people eat tacos, blah, blah, blah. But culturally, like, black people, you would think like the African stuff, like when everybody was going to go see Black Panther, and then like
Extra stupid.
it was extra
I was
now.
over them. I was like, really? You gonna wear internet dashiki to go see Black Panther?
But what I was gonna say was little stuff like Andre 3000 and the Players Anthem video when he had on a kilt. Is that cultural appropriation? Because I feel like it ain't. Because it's just
Like
style.
it's
I feel like
not,
when black people do it, we get away because it just be
Style.
fresh. Like, oh, he was fresh. Like, he on a kilt. He had on this and that. He was killing it.
Yeah,
But then
that's cultural
let a white dude. Well,
You
no,
think
white
it
dude.
is?
I've seen a white dude
I don't
walking
think
around
he
with a dashiki
I
on.
don't think he did it intentionally, but I definitely think that I think Andre 3000 is very, like I said earlier, he's like so spunky. So he probably thought about it and was like, that would be a dope idea, and didn't even be like, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
you know,
I don't
I'm gonna
think
get
it was
out there with a
appropriation.
bagpipe and get extra.
You seen it, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't think him and that kilt at all is appropriation. I just think
Not at
look
all.
at the stuff he wears all the time. Like he would wear something random like that. Like I'm pretty sure he's wearing a dress at some point, or it's like just being Andre. Like that's just the way he dressed. So.
But even when it comes to like, cause I went to a black college, so I mean most of the people around were black people. There were a few, white people, and even so, there was a guy who used to wear like the dashiki shirt like all the time, and he would wear it with like jeans and Timbs. And we in Tallahassee, it's like
White kid?
90 degrees, yeah.
Really?
So
Oh, wow.
and so when I saw that, honestly, I didn't think he was appropriating the culture. I just thought it was, it's in. Everybody's wearing these now, and I just thought he thought it was a nice shirt that he wanted to wear. So I honestly didn't feel like it was appropriation. I just feel like he was just wearing. I mean,
You said you would say he's wildin'?
I mean, I'm only saying, obviously, he's wilding because it's 90 degrees and he got on tennis. So your sense of style is already questioned. Like, it's already questioned. I'm already wondering,
Like
are
he's
you
just
here
trying
with us?
too hard.
I don't know what, I don't think maybe not that he's trying too hard. I just think that, he probably wanted to look nice, and wherever he comes from, that's how you look nice. But he probably didn't anticipate it being 90 degrees with Tim's on. He probably went home and took them off. Because I would have, but
so I don't know. Sometimes like
Ooh.
those people from Miami, like it's 80 degrees and they got jackets on. They got their hood on. They're not taking it off. Like I don't know why. Maybe because I'm from California and the heat is a lot to me. But that's
that's
how
what
they are
I'm
out
saying.
there.
See, they
Like,
probably could just tolerate it.
yeah.
I got a
And
question.
it's be raining. They be walking around the rain, no umbrella, nothing. Like they used to it. I'm like
I like
ducking,
that.
dodging.
I got a question.
Okay. Oh, here you go.
Yeah, I'm about to
see what you about to show us.
Yeah, I think this was the what's the song? You got the
Your love? Is that
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj?
I think this was that video. Is this cultural appropriation, her dressed as a geisha in her music video when she's a black woman, or is this appreciation?
I feel like we have to say it's appropriation because we said Katy Perry was appropriating the culture. So I feel like we can't. That's
You
what
gotta
I was
keep that same
saying.
energy.
Yeah, we gotta keep that same energy. We can't say because a black person did it, oh, it's not, or
Yeah.
oh, because a white person did it, oh, it is. Like, so
But what makes it like?
I don't know. That's the
What's
thin
the
line
determining
that
factor between
I don't
like
know.
it is and it ain't? Like if she,
I mean, like
I think it's just the fact that
as
she black.
well as you show me these pictures, these look like Halloween costumes. They don't look like.
I'm trying to.
They don't look
Also,
like.
these are music
That's
videos.
true.
These are
Which,
music
which
videos.
like there's plenty of people who will incorporate something from another culture that they had a cultural experience and incorporate it in a respectful, responsible way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you put on a Halloween costume, that's not respectful. That's not
Yeah.
Well, 'cause it's-
I
appropriate.
complain about Halloween costumes. They always say,
Yeah.
like, when
Yeah.
you dress up. But my thing is like, if you dress up like a doctor, does that mean that you're like pretending to be a
You
doctor?
can't do
no.
shit these days,
If I
honestly.
dress up like an Indian, yes, I'm pretending to be an Indian, just like cowboys and whatever. It's like that,
Yeah.
that's Halloween stuff. But I feel like when you're doing things and you're not respectful about it, or if you're just ignorant about it, that's what makes it cultural. And you're just doing it to try to make money or try to have some type of personal gain popularity. I
Yeah.
think that's what makes it
And
more
I-
irritated.
Yeah,
That's
but
not
even
bad.
when it comes to Nicki Minaj, though, she has this obsession with
She does,
Asian
she
culture,
do, she do,
like
she
Chun-Li, like all that stuff. I've noticed
She does.
it's reoccurring,
Did you
so
bring
she
up
does it a
Wu-Tang?
lot.
Remember we was talking about Wu-Tang? Like the rap has like this whole thing about Asian culture, like Wu-Tang, and then Lupe Fiasco is kind of obsessed with Asian culture. Pharrell, I think, was pretty big with Nigo with Bape and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Kanye, Takashi Murakami, when he did the graduation, there's a big obsession with. Look at me getting deep, hey. But
Okay, expensive knowledge. I see you.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I mean, to be honest with you, Asian. Have you guys ever heard of K-pop?
Yeah. They be
So-
killing it.
Right, and so for me, it's almost like that. Like there are times or whatever where it's like you said, cultural appreciation, where you see something, you're like, that's dope. I don't care where it came from. I don't care who made it. That's dope. I want to get behind that. If I ended up, I'm just gonna be myself, and if it ends up going somewhere, then it happens. So I think like what you said, like with Pharrell or with Nicki Minaj, I mean, she is obsessed with Asian culture, but so was Gwen Stefani. Like Gwen Stefani, white lady, loves. It's just like she even names her clothing line. Everything about it was like an Asian tune, and nobody. It was like some Hello Kitty shit. And is that cultural appropriation for her to make a whole line about it, and she's not even Asian? Like that's the
I don't know, cause I remember seeing on Instagram this girl. I tried to get her on there. She's so stupid, but that's another story.
Cold. Hope she never sees this video.
I blocked her. No, cause I tried to get her on here. She asked me if it was like on pay her. She said
You gotta pay her.
Yeah, okay. Let me
Who
tell.
she think she
Let me
is?
tell.
Wait, are we getting paid for this?
Let me tell the story real quick.
Are you guys getting
Cool Big
paid?
Jammers.
Share
That's a
something.
payment.
Okay, if I could have it.
I asked this girl.
Yo, for real, I'm a little thirsty. It's hot.
Y'all extra. I'm on camera. Y'all think I'm about to get up to go get a Kool-Aid?
Okay, listen, no.
Okay, give me a second.
no.
Give me a second. Okay, so I asked this girl to come up here to talk about colorism, and but she probably would have been good for this topic as well because she always talking about white people and white passing Latinos and stuff like that. But she asked me was I going to pay her. She also told me that I need to read a book, do some Googling or something like that, so I don't have to exploit women's labor. And I was like, by asking you to talk on my podcast about something that you ran about all the time, you would have been great for this, but whatever. So I forgot where I was going with that story, but
You blocked her.
no, but before why I brought her up, there was something
You said she was going to be on the show.
something before that.
Oh, she talks about white people all the time.
No, wait, okay, wait, hold
Backwards.
on. There was something to tie it in. I done lost it, and I'm mad at myself now. But let's talk about braids. Kim Kardashian with the boxer braids and all that controversy.
Okay.
You ready? Go ahead.
Okay, I feel like I'm going in on everything, but I feel like it becomes a appropriation when it's like us as black women, we have to wear these hairstyles. Like
They're protective styles.
they're protective styles. We have to. Like it's not like, oh, I wanna, I wanna wear my hair in braids. Yes, it does look cute, but at the end of the day, that's what we have to do. Like we gotta do twist outs.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just go to sleep. I can put my hair in a bun and just go to sleep, but split ends. Like, there's stuff you have to worry about as a black woman when it comes to your hair. So you gotta do braids, you gotta do twist outs. I mean, wearing weaves, you could do that too. Like, there's a lot of different things that you have to do as far as like, protective style, protecting your hair. Allowing, we do it because it allows our hair to grow. It's easy to manage. I feel like when other people do it in the sense of like, oh, I'm gonna get some braids, like, I'm gonna be cute. I feel like it becomes a sense where it's like appropriation, and then you're calling them boxer braids. Like, we know they were cornrows. Like, don't ever do that and try to disrespect, us.
So I got a comment about that real quick. Sorry, Nancy.
Sorry.
Were you?
Well, I just want to real quick.
Okay.
So if anybody who's not black wears braids, it's instantly appropriation.
No, I don't think it's no.
Well, so Kim is appropriation because she called them boxer braids?
Yeah, when you're trying to change it and just like
and act like it's not.
Yeah, like it's not like I'm not wearing cornrows. Like you are.
Well,
So
I don't. Because I'm not trying to defend her. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I do think that women boxers wear braids like that just to keep their hair tied up and stuff. So maybe she was just like,
Layla Ali.
yeah, like it's really a
black
thing.
woman.
But black. I mean, we know who wears them a lot more. But I don't know where, maybe she just got it from there. Like, oh, I got these two braids in my hair like the boxers. I'll just call them boxer braids.
No,
I don't know.
I think it's trying to be set a trend. Like you see how like designers, they're coming out with the Chinese flip flops and they're on the they're on the runway wearing do rags and like doing stuff like that. I feel like it's just appropriating because it's like you're not really appreciating it. Like I feel like
that's not like if you like the braids and you say I'm gonna wear
because
this
it's
on
trendy.
myself. But when she was doing them, I think she made them like.
What?
Wait.
I don't think that.
What'd you say?
Wait, can I be the one to say that I
Yeah.
don't think that French braids or cornrows or whatever, I don't think that's a black. I think black people owned it because it does work with our hair. But I don't think that that's a thing that black people invented. I definitely think it came from Europeans because the Dutch, they braid their hair. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, they was called French braids for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we didn't create that, so why are we picking a battle that's not ours? Like, we didn't create that. And granted, you know, a lot of people probably don't know that. You know what I'm saying? They probably don't know it. They don't know that. I mean, we own it. You know, bantu knots, things like that. That is black, you know, African culture, I'm assuming. But I feel like growing up, hearing them called French braids, I don't think that black people, like, created the braids. I think we just named them something.
I gotta look it up and figure that out.
Is it also possible just two different cultures figured out the same thing independently?
That's true, but I thought about that before I said it, but then I remember growing up they were called French braids. So that's what made me think.
Call French braids. I would still call them French braids too.
Exactly, but if they are French, then maybe they're not African.
I gotta look that. Yeah, that is interesting.
You know, that was what I thought. I was like,
it's a really good point.
You know, but at the same time, we were really colonized. Our groups were colonized. You know, our cultures were colonized. So maybe they even, you know, maybe we got the idea from doing their kids or showing their kids. You know, you never know as far as black culture where we got things from. But I think that could be a thing.
Well, I think a lot about when Richard was asking me to come on to do the cultural appropriation episode, and we were talking before the podcast started about Quentin Tarantino movies, which those for you listening at home, Richard has a Pulp Fiction poster on his wall despite never ever seeing a Quentin Tarantino movie.
That was a gift.
But I think about like Quentin Tarantino. I mean, he's been out in the open. He's said in a million different interviews about the influence that Asian filmmakers have had on him. And I mean, I think I've heard him specifically talk about Akira Kurosawa, who's one of the most famous directors in the history of the world, who has been hugely influential in a ton of American movies. He was being influenced by a ton of American directors in the 30s and 40s who were making westerns, and all of those guys were influenced by world myths from lots of different parts of the world. So it's like, are any of these cultural appropriation, or is this just people bouncing ideas off each other,
taking a little bit from here and there,
and building on that, and trying to show respect and appreciation for it?
Makes sense.
But also, like, I think a lot about kind of talking about how all these old Western directors are pulling from these ancient myths from different parts of the world, that there's striking similarities between myths created in Asia and myths created in Africa and created in North America and South America. Is that just a coincidence, or at the end of the day, are we all seeking the same thing and coming to the same conclusions, maybe in different ways?
Yeah.
Right.
Even with religion, kind of the same thing. Everybody got their own version of kind of the same story.
Exactly. Everybody's morals are pretty much bottom line. Don't kill, don't steal. You know what I'm saying? Respect your mom. Like, but I think that, dang, what was I going to say? I forgot. Sorry. I lost it. But I agree with what Richard said and what you said.
But I honestly feel it's different too, because you said he talked about how the Asian culture influenced.
To get credit.
So it's like you're giving credit, and you're saying like, this is something I really enjoy. This is something that I'm very interested in. Like, I'm a filmmaker. Let me go ahead and put it in a movie and show people something I'm interested in, and they'll see it and be like, hey, this is really cool. Because, the scene where the crazy 88 and she, kills all those people, it's like, it kind of made me interested to look and see, like, Asian films, is it similar to that, or,
They're kind of gory, they're really gory, and so are Quentin Tarantino films.
Oh, okay.
But I think that culture, a lot of times where I find offensive when people take things from cultures is when they try to separate themselves from it, but take what they want. That is what makes me upset. So some of these people, they're just probably doing it because it was a good idea, but some people, such as Kim Kardashian, sometimes she has really tried to separate herself from the fact that she's not black, you know what I'm saying?
And pretend that it's an original idea.
Exactly, or not even that. When she was defending Jeffree Star, who was saying the word nigger or whatever, he kept saying it.
Who's Jeffree Star?
Jeffree Star is a YouTuber. He does makeup and everything. He's a gay man.
What ethnicity is he?
He's white.
Okay.
He's white, and he was calling them roaches and gorillas, and so she's defending this man. He never.
He was calling black people gorillas?
Yes. So this is Jeffree Star. And so he's like talking all this shit, and she defends this man. She's like, everybody just needs to leave him alone. He already apologized, like it's not even a big deal, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it's like, what do you, first of all, how are you even on this man's side? Your husband's black. Your children are black. Who cares if he said it a long time ago? The fact that he even had that mindset, you think that mindset really just dead it? He just like, I love black people. No. He's still thinking when he get mad. You know what I'm saying? When he gets upset or if a black person cuts him off on the road, he probably says it. So be clear. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, for Kim Kardashian, then she turned around and was like, oh, I never should have said that it was inappropriate. Yeah, bitch, because your kids is black. What are you over here talking about? You acting like you're so separate, but in reality, you're raising 2-3 black people. So you need to be able to be sensitive to their culture, even if it doesn't affect you.
Honestly, I think she isn't sensitive to the culture because she thinks, oh, we're mixed, so we're different.
No.
Honestly, I think that's what
she
she's
Her kids ain't started school yet.
She's Armenian, I think that's it.
Yeah, her kid, she is. She's Armenian.
100%?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't
And
think
she, I think she's white and Armenian.
I don't know if Chris is Armenian, but I do know her dad is. But I think her
Look
children.
at his last name. His last name is Jenner. He ain't Armenian. Armenian is
Kardashian.
Oh, my
That's
bad.
not
My
her
bad. I
dad.
take that back. I take that back. I take it back.
But I'm rolling.
I think that her kids haven't started school yet. Honestly, like when your kids start, I feel like maybe she might do homeschooling, but I feel like for children, you don't really learn about race and separation and things like that because you're at home. But once you start going to school, you start to really feel the you know how people can make you feel isolated no matter who you are. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's probably a reason why she wasn't sensitive to the culture because you haven't had to try to explain to your child like you're actually a wonderful person. Sorry, people don't even know you, but they judge you. You know what I'm saying? You haven't even had that chance. So I think that for her, I get really upset with her. I'm like, you know what?
That whole family.
She's obviously making money from whatever she can put out there that people like. You know what I'm saying? I don't know a lot of black people at least, they'd be like, I fucking Kim Kardashian, that's my bitch. Like, no. I don't know anything that's
I don't know somebody that don't like her.
I don't really like them.
I don't really know if I don't like her.
It's not even to say like I don't,
famous.
not like them, but I understand what they're doing. You know, they getting their money by any means necessary. Like you're a millionaire because of this brand that you've built and the stuff that you've done. So like I respect you getting your money because she getting to that check. No lie. But I don't like the way that she's doing it and the stuff that she does. Like how you say she kind of made it as a trend, like, oh, boxer braids, I created these are my
I don't think she ever said she created
No,
them.
she didn't, but I'm just saying, they
She
put it
knows.
out they put it on a magazine,
She has
and they were
to
like,
make
Kim
sure
Kardashian created these braids.
Oh, okay.
Literally, that was the title. They
Okay.
said,
And
Kim
that-
Kardashian created boxer
As long as
braids.
it wasn't from her mouth, though. They
No,
gonna
I don't
put
think-
where
I
she
think
goes.
magazines are always,
Some extra
they're
shit.
one of the number one places that you can go and be like, y'all out of line. Because 4 or 5 years ago, y'all was looking down on it. And that's what I mean by always trying to be separate, but trying to be taking what you want from it. Because I saw a post the other day that was about black women and how we used to wear our nails long, different color hair weave, you know what I'm saying? Always got our makeup popping, like all these little hood rats. You know what I'm saying? In the 90s, I was like a hood rat. Like, oh, she got long baps. You know what I'm saying? Like long nails with the hair, you know? And so now all of a sudden, everybody got different hair color any day. Nails is long. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody
Makeup
got
done. Gold chains everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think that is that just a progression of culture, or is that
I think it's
I
true.
think it just came
people
from
taking
magazines
advantage
making it
of
more
it?
popular.
Because I think about like tattoos and stuff. You know,
Yeah, that
used to be
too.
looked down
in the
on.
50s and 60s, you know, who had tattoos? You know, biker
Sailors.
gangs and sailors, and now everyone has tattoos. You could, I see people, I see people working jobs with tattoos on their necks and things like that, and it's not a thing anymore. So is that the same thing where it's just a trend has taken place?
I think sometimes it's a trend because honestly, like in a few years, most of these people, they're not going to be wearing the colored lace fronts. They're not going to be doing wearing all the gold jewelry anymore because it's not in. They're going to do what's in, and it doesn't matter the culture.
But also, they won't do it because they're older. Like, you look at how old you are now, think back to 3 or 4 years ago, the stuff you used to do then. You ain't doing it no more, not because it ain't in, but because you're older, you don't, you know, you're not into the same stuff no more. I still dress well. I'll wear.
I try to dress different, but I always end up looking the same. I'm always like, bitch, get cute. And I just end up looking real laid back. So.
I think I'm the most open out of my friends into wearing some random shit. Like I remember wearing like baby blue shorts above my knee in high school.
Wow.
Like wild stuff all the time. But but now I probably still would maybe. Like I wouldn't be embarrassed to, but I just don't dress the same no more because you know I'm just older and your style develop, and you know as you get older you might wear crazy hairstyles, you might have crazy colored nails, dress a certain way, but you know as time goes on you're gonna change and your style changes, etc., etc. But
I don't know. I feel like my style's been the same my whole life. I don't know. Like just.
But different versions of it maybe like it changes a little bit. Like it has a certain like this is how she dresses. This is a classic for her stuff, but there's still like a timeline that you can go through. Like you would wear this type of stuff in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, versus the mid 2000s versus now it's 2018 gonna be 2020.
Oh yeah. So I know in middle school I used to love little plaid capri shorts.
Mm-hmm.
I would never wear those now, but I'm just saying like I used to love them. Little picnic table looking stuff.
Right, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was fresh.
My question is about let's talking about trends and about things come in style and things come and go, and you know obviously things come from, you know, an underground place to the mainstream. If you were in a position that you were somehow making money off of this underground thing, and then it went mainstream, but it was borderline cultural appropriation, but it was still.
Can you give us an example?
I'm trying to. Okay, so. And I know nothing about hair. I spend about 30 seconds on my hair in the morning. So this is a terrible example. But like you said about Kim Kardashian and the boxer braids. Let's say there's some sort of hair product that you have to put in your hair to make these boxer braids, to make your hair look like that. And let's say I own this company that makes this product, and it's a niche market because it's not a mainstream trend.
Yeah.
And this trend goes mainstream, and it helps my product. But it's people that I think are taking credit for it. Am I okay with that? Am I not okay with that? What's?
You wouldn't be okay with it because it's yours, and now everybody else making money off of it. It's like damn.
No, but I'm still making money off of it because my product has become more popular.
You want the credit though, don't you?
Is that okay, or is that not worth it? Is that putting a dollar amount over something more authentic?
As long as you respect whatever the culture is, I think it goes back to that. And I do think I remember like reading Kim Kardashian's response to everybody talking about when she got those French braids with the beads on it.
Mm-hmm. I had a picture of that too.
I remember that
The
or whatever. And
Bo
she
Derek
was
braids
just
or
like, and
French braids.
she was like Bo Derek, but in my eyes it was like, girl, please.
Cornrows, like
This
she
is-
know what
this is
they're
Bo Derek
called.
right here, and it's like
This
that.
is Bo Derek. And she was, you know, she was just like, I don't know, she was from another culture. But I think she was like some type of Russian maybe?
Probably, I'll look at it right
Something
now.
like that. I'm not sure exactly what she was, but either way, she was like, oh, I grew up watching her and I liked her, so I wanted to do some of those braids. So for me, it was like, I mean, you could say that, but we all know where you probably saw it scrolling on Instagram on some black girls hair.
When you
And
Google,
that was cute. Like,
Well,
yeah,
then
I
just-
mean, they respect, you know?
Yeah, I honestly don't care if she want to wear her hair in French braids, lace
Me
front
neither.
weaves, regular hair. I don't care. I just don't like it when she's like trying to change it and make it her own, like she
Yeah, like-
originated it.
Pretend like
So
she-
if a Hispanic girl has braids walking down the street, do you ever be like, oh, why she trying to be black? Like that's cultural appropriation. How do you feel about stuff like that?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it's like how I can say it without being blunt or mean.
Because
Well, if I see a Hispanic girl with braids like this, it's like it doesn't go with your hair. You get what I'm saying? It's like
I'm more
it
so like,
doesn't.
why?
Yeah, you look kind of dumb. Honestly,
like,
like
why?
just being honest, you look dumb.
Why?
Like when I see like white people with dreads,
I was
you
gonna
look,
bring that up
you
earlier.
look dumb. Like you look dumb. Like so, it's just I don't know. If you want to do what you want to do, you can wear your hair however you want. Just know you look crazy.
I want to bring up the dread thing because I saw an Asian dude at the hotel who was dressed like a week ago. But it's just because you have to try a lot harder to get your hair to dread up and stuff like it's not as simple as just grabbing and twisting and letting it sit. Like you have to a lot of times like interlock it and do stuff like that.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Because if your hair is like my hair, I mean I got black hair, so I mean it locked up by just me getting it twisted over and over and over. But if you have finer hair, like you know if you white or Hispanic or etc.
Let me cut that off because black people got good hair too. So don't.
I'm not saying they don't have good hair. I'm saying it's easier to lock up because of the texture.
Okay.
But if you have like the hair of like a Latino person or a white or Asian or whatever like that, it's a lot harder because your hair isn't rough like that to just start grabbing onto each other and locking up. And then a lot of times because that's a hairstyle that it happens more easily on our type of hair. Sometimes they look stupid. Like you just end up looking stupid because you have to try so hard to get it, and it just don't look natural. But that's all I gotta say about it.
I don't know if I've ever seen a white person with like neat dreads, like how black people keep their dreads. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I see, because I went to school in Humboldt County, and those white people they have dreads, but it's more so because it's almost like they're on like some type of spiritual disconnect. They're like, I don't want to be connected to this hair. Just let it be how it's gonna be, and they backcombing and all that stuff and make it like matty like that. So it's perhaps I don't know if they even wash their hair. It's just like they're like, I'm detached. I don't care. So I haven't seen any like white people with dreads who are like, come on, man. Like like I haven't seen that. I've only seen the ones who are like hippies, and that's almost a part of that little niche of culture.
So it's not
just, like,
it's not cultural appropriation when you see like another people that aren't black with dreads.
Like I said, I haven't seen anybody.
Really? Your whole life you never seen nobody with black with dreads? Look at my voice.
I've only seen those ones who are part of that hippie culture who call themselves disconnected and want to live in trees. Those are the only ones I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody who's not black with dreads that are like twisted and neat and fucking shaped up like.
And so didn't seem like cultural appropriation because they weren't trying to do it to quote unquote.
Right, because they had their own niche of their culture. I think they were just like, we're disconnecting from life, so this is what we're going to do as a part of our process for what we're doing. I don't think that they were like, it almost, I guess you could say it's almost like where dreads came from because that's what it was. It was like the nappier or the more matted your dreads were, the more respect you had. As like
where does that originate?
In Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay.
Yeah, like because somebody told me like Bob Marley. That's why his dreads were so natty and just so bad because it's like you're that disconnected from the superficial that you'll just let your hair look any kind of way, and so it kind of elevates you. Like in their culture, they get more respect. So my friend was telling me like getting your dreads twisted, keeping them nice and neat. That's really not the culture of dreads. The actual culture is to let the natty ride. That's what we call it.
Let the natty. Okay, well I'm not gonna let my natty ride. I'm getting married to it in like 2 weeks. I have to. They look terrible to me now, but it is.
I do agree. Every time I do see a white person with dreads, they do seem a little like different. Like they're kind of on some spiritual kind of thing, hippie
like
kind
yoga,
of thing.
crystals, moon settings, whatever.
So like that. So I feel like if it's a part of who you are, you're not appropriating the culture. Like this is you. You grew up like this is how you are. Exactly.
And that's probably why Bad Baby gets a pass. That's probably why like just because like Bruno Mars gets a pass, it's just like this is just who you are. We can tell.
Because you're still remaining your authentic self
you're not
while incorporating somebody else's culture.
Right, because it's already incorporated.
What you do while still giving credit.
Exactly.
Well, look at that. We solved it.
That's how I feel right now. We did it.
We figured it out.
That's how I feel.
Good work.
There it is.
All right, see you next week.
That's kind of. I mean, it kind of wrapped this up right there. I don't know if we have a direct definition of what is and what isn't, but it was still a pretty interesting conversation, all in all.
Definitely agree with that.
And Bruno Mars isn't appropriating. Justin Bieber isn't appropriating. Kim Kardashian, maybe. I don't know. Okay, she says yes.
Can you have a list on your Instagram?
The description. Everybody
who's on, who isn't?
Right.
I don't know, because for me, I didn't have a strong I like to talk about these topics just because they're interesting to me. But I didn't have a strong thought on what is and what isn't. Like if you just give me certain examples, I just can tell you. To me, Bruno Mars ain't. To me, Justin Timberlake ain't. They just make music that black people like. You're not appropriating them. You're not acting black. You just make music black people like. But with hair and stuff, I don't know. Like, if I see somebody who's not black with individuals, it kind of looks stupid. I ain't gonna like. I'm not gonna say.
It look weird.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna be able to like you appropriate the culture, but it just kind of. Oops. It just kind of looks stupid, and some people can pull it off. Like I saw this one girl. She was from South Africa, but she was real dark, and she looked like Indian or something. She had braids. She looked. I think I went back and forth with it.
But she was black, so that kind
No,
of.
no. She was like Indian, like actual like Indian or something like that. But she lived in West. I can show you her. She didn't leave the pictures though.
Oh,
But
well,
she
ain't.
she's a really pretty girl. But I remember at a point she had braids, individuals, and I was like, oh, okay, well, look at this. This is new.
I feel like if you gotta braid your hair with individuals and put rubber bands on the end, like why? Like why?
Yeah. Have you ever tried to braid someone's hair that's like
raffles?
Yeah, like I tried to braid a person's hair that was like white or Asian or something. It's like it's hard to grip it, like and to make it into
soft.
an actual braid. Yeah, where it's like
It could be dirty though. When I was my boss, I braid my hair all the time. She always asked me to braid her hair. So one day I was just like, don't wash your hair for 3 days, and so she did, and that was easier to braid.
it was easier.
Because the oils, the natural oils. I found her.
Yeah, but their hair gets ridiculous.
But I can't find the picture of the braids. But she's like brown. She's like dark brown or whatever. So on her, it looks good. But if you're not, kind of tan or something like that, it might not look as good. But I wish she had the picture of her when she had them individuals. She did it a couple times.
I don't even know if it's based off your. I don't know. Could it be color and hair texture?
Both, yeah,
It's
both.
like, yeah.
Some girls just want the convenience.
Yeah, that's
oh my
what
god,
it
it
is.
looks like it's so cool to just not have to comb your hair for a few days. But in reality, it's like, it just don't, I don't know, maybe it's something about the way that the hair is. I don't know, it just looks, it doesn't look cute. It's not appealing to my eyes.
And it's trendy. So I feel like most of them weren't doing those, the feed-in braids. No, most people weren't doing that. And then now it's like feed-in braids are so popular.
You're talking about the ones you just.
Those are better. I think that was a progression.
They're really cornrows. You just add it in.
I think that was a progression though, because having the little knot at the front is corny. So like no. So yeah, the feed-in braids. The feed-in, it looks. It's
talking
fake
about when
hair.
you braid up your hair, like you frizz your hair, and then you just.
No, that's weave.
No, but they're like already individuals, and you like.
Oh no,
crochet.
That's crochet. No,
Oh,
no.
that's crochet.
I'm talking about feed-in braids. So like you have to take 3 pieces or whatever you want to braid.
and do them.
So instead of putting the fake hair on the top, you add it in slowly while you're braiding the real hair, so that it doesn't look fake, but it just And no, because with the little knot in the front, it looked corny. I'm telling you, like nah. So I think that was a progression, and I'm thankful for that. Or whatever, but I am sad that it got popular because it's expensive now.
Yeah, it's like $100.
Yes.
To get some 5 braids.
No,
So
yeah.
I'm happy my sister know how to do hair. Shout out to you, Tina.
Shout out to you.
Man, she been doing my hair all my life. It's been saving me so much money. You don't understand. Like getting something like this, somebody will charge you like $150.
Oh yeah, my
She did
sister
it for
just
free.
braided my hair. She just braided it, but she didn't know how to do feeding, so I had to have
Man, she doesn't know how to do
Y'all
feeding
doing
either.
a
That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for her to learn how to do feeding.
Sorry, our bad.
Oh, it's over?
Yeah, y'all talking about hair now. That's like a whole other topic.
Oh,
Alright.
I have a black hair topic, but that was it. I want to thank everybody for listening and or watching, and I guess I'll let y'all say your goodbyes. Shout yourself out, your Instagram or whatever if you want to.
Oh,
Guys, you want me to go first?
It's up to whoever. I don't know.
He started it.
Hey, thanks for having me, bud.
No worries, man. Thanks for reaching out.
follow the kid on the gram. It's Nancy Pants 3 S's.
Thanks for having me. Brown Skin Goddess, I'm out. Instagram, Baby Girl Jess, 2 R's in the girl, if you want to follow me.
Thanks, Rich.
Wait. Let me say my. Oh, you welcome now. And your boy, Brown Skin Bobby. You know what I'm saying? I just want to thank everybody. Oh, let me rant real quick. I'm gonna start doing this at the end of these because I gotta get some shit off my chest. All these episodes, I gotta do it. I'm sick and tired of scheduling these podcasts, and I have people schedule all week, and the day of or the day before, somebody cancel on me, and they don't understand how hard it is to get somebody who would have filled the point of view that they have, and make this a better flowing, not better flowing, but a better conversation because of different, mainly ethnicities. Because I always try to have 2 boys, 2 girls. Don't fucking tell me you're gonna be on here if you're not coming. If you're not coming, tell me early enough so I can get a replacement. And yeah, that's just a struggle I have every week. Somebody flaking and make me mad. Like it's stressful. So, and I was thinking, and I'm gonna let y'all know this. I was thinking about it because I was like, Maybe if I start telling people if they want to come to reserve their seat, they like Venmo me like $10 or $15 to hold their seat, and if they don't show up, they lost their money. And if they come, then they get their money back because then you'll stop flaking.
That's
Like, I don't need your money. I'm just holding it. As soon as you pull up, I'll Venmo right back to you. But I think that's a smart tactic because y'all gonna stop flaking on me. This shit is hard to do. I got another one to do in like 3 days, like 2 days from now, and I'm hoping I can get it done because people flake.
That's what hairstylists do.
No, I know, my dread lady do that.
Like,
Like,
deposit down,
yeah.
you don't show up, I keep your money.
so
Deep.
that's an idea. I might start.
Show up for the
I
kids.
might start doing it. Yeah, start playing out here. It's because this is gonna take a while to pop, but it's gonna be harder if I can't get the people here. So that's it. That's my little rant. I'm gonna start doing them now. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See y'all next week or in a couple days. Peace. That's a long episode.
How long
That
was
was
that?
fun.
I do
like
not
that.
know.